Welcome back, Royal Sussex squad, where truth meets tenacity and where we proudly uplift Prince Harry and Meghan Markle against the tide of tabloid madness. Now listen, the royal rota and their puppet masters in the palace are having another public meltdown, all because Prince Harry dared to set foot in the UK on his own terms. The pearl-clutching is at an all-time high, and you'd think the man committed high treason simply by existing. The latest fit of rage comes from Prince Harry's unannounced visit to London for a very serious reason: his ongoing legal case over the removal of police protection for him and his family. But instead of reporting with nuance or empathy, the press went into a frenzy, branding him a thunder stealer, attention seeker, and even suggesting he's bored with his aimless life in LA. The hypocrisy is loud, the jealousy is louder. And once again, the hate for Harry and Meghan has nothing to do with facts and everything to do with control. Let's break it all down, expose the spin, and remind the world why the Sussexes continue to lead with dignity while others cling to outdated tradition and petty pageantry. Let's start with the basics. Prince Harry was in London this week, but not for photo ops or palace tea parties. He was there to attend an appeal court hearing in his legal battle to secure adequate police protection when he visits the UK. That's right, this isn't about titles, turf, or tabloid clout. This is about safety, plain and simple. But that didn't stop Buckingham Palace courtiers from throwing a tantrum. Reports from the Times and the Telegraph suggest they were furious, not because Harry did something wrong, but because he dared to show up without notifying the firm. Oh, the horror. A grown man choosing not to tiptoe around a royal institution that's been nothing but hostile towards him and his wife. Let's not forget King Charles and Prince Harry are estranged, and not because Harry hasn't tried to mend fences. The palace has spent years briefing against him, withholding support and turning their backs on his family. They've refused to take responsibility for the lack of security that Harry is now forced to fight for in court. The irony? Charles could fix this. He has the influence, but instead he hides behind advisors and sends messages through the press. This brings us to a particularly absurd column by the Telegraph's Alan Cochrane, who tries to lecture Harry from the comfort of his outdated royalist perch. He paints Harry as some tragic figure, an outcast of his own making, while suggesting that King Charles remains a loving father just waiting with open arms. If that isn't gaslighting of the highest order, I don't know what is. Let's be clear, the very system that isolated Harry is now pretending to extend an olive branch, but only if he returns on their terms. They don't want reconciliation. They want submission. And Harry, he's not playing that game anymore. Cochrane even has the nerve to say that Harry must show he wants to be part of the family. Excuse me! The man has consistently said the UK is his home. He's the one making the effort to secure safety so his children can connect with their heritage. His words during the court hearing were heartfelt and direct. The UK is my home. The UK is central to the heritage of my children and a place I want them to feel at home as much as where they live at the moment in the US. That cannot happen if it's not possible to keep them safe when they are on UK soil. That is a father speaking, a protector, a man determined to do right by his family in the face of relentless smear campaigns. But the British press doesn't want you to see that. They want to reframe his sincerity as manipulation. They want you to believe that Harry is playing some strategic game to get back at his family. Let's also talk about the not-so-subtle digs at Meghan in this mess. The article implies that Meghan is somehow responsible for Harry's decisions and continues to frame her as the wedge between Harry and his relatives. That tired, misogynistic narrative needs to be buried once and for all. Meghan didn't isolate Harry. His so-called loving family did that all on their own when they chose silence over support, press leaks over protection, and protocol over humanity. Harry and Meghan's love is real. Their partnership is strong, and their commitment to protecting their children unshakable. For Cochrane to even suggest that Harry's effort to secure safety for his wife and children is a PR stunt is not only disgusting, it's dangerous. The royal family and their supporters are desperate to maintain a narrative where Harry is the rebel who needs to be reined in. But here's what they can't stand. Harry doesn't need them. He's thriving outside their golden cage. He's built a home rooted in authenticity, not aristocracy. He and Meghan have turned pain into purpose, and yes, the haters can't take it. Then comes the wildly condescending statement that Harry might be bored with the aimless life he leads in Los Angeles. Aimless? This man is running Arch well, producing documentaries, launching mental health initiatives, continuing his work with veterans, and preparing for the next Invictus Games in Birmingham in 2027. He's doing more real-world impact from California than most of the royals do in a lifetime of ribbon cutting. This claim of an aimless life is not only false, it's part of a growing narrative pushed by royalists to discredit Harry's freedom. They want the public to believe he's lost without the palace, but the truth is he's finally found peace, and that scares them more than anything. What Harry's doing right now, fighting for security, protecting his family, building his own legacy, is the work of a man with purpose, not a man with regrets. And while the royalists cling to outdated traditions and propaganda, Harry is choosing progress, transparency, and integrity. Let's also point out that this entire press meltdown conveniently avoids discussing one critical fact. If Harry loses this security case, it could set a dangerous precedent. It sends a message that stepping back from royal duties means forfeiting the right to safety, even when your life has been threatened and your family remains at risk. The media should be focusing on that. But instead, they're obsessed with tone-policing Harry, painting him as ungrateful, unstable, and dramatic, all to protect the image of a royal institution that has failed to evolve. So, no, we're not buying the spin, we're not here for the emotional manipulation, and we are certainly not falling for the desperate calls for Harry to return to the fold. He already chose the only fold that matters: his wife, his children, and his conscience. While the media buzzed with speculation and criticism, the royal family remained, well, conspicuously silent during Harry's visit. But this silence, it actually speaks volumes. The lack of public support for Harry, especially given his concerns about security, really underscores the fractured relationship between him and his family. It also throws a spotlight on the contrast between the royal family's polished public image and their actual actions. They've often talked about the importance of family unity and reconciliation, but their silence during Harry's visit, particularly on the issue of his family's safety, paints quite a different picture. This gap between what's said and what's done only fuels more public skepticism and speculation about the true state of Harry's relationship with his family. Meanwhile, the media, often seen as an extension of the royal family's public relations machine, has been quick to fill the silence. They've framed Harry's visit through a harsh lens, focusing on his legal battles and what they see as slights against the monarchy. This narrative, amplified by certain corners of the press, only serves to further isolate Harry and undermine his efforts at reconciliation. And there you have it. While the monarchy continues its PR games and the press pumps out propaganda, Prince Harry remains focused on what truly matters: his family, his values, and his mission. That's leadership, that's courage. And that's what we stand behind here at Royal Sussex Squad. If you're tired of the lies and loud for the love, then hit that subscribe button, tap the like, and show your support with a super thanks to help us keep defending the Duke and Duchess of Sussex against the noise. Because here, we don't just follow the truth, we amplify it. And we'll keep doing so until the world finally sees through the palace fog. Until next time, stay bold, stay brilliant, and always stay Sussex strong.